Hey guys, Jeff from smokintjets here, just having a blast. Listen, I came into a little bit of an issue and I wanted to solve it and I wanted to share it with you. I forget what car it was. It was going around the track and it was on the big track and it hit a turn and it stopped. The car just stopped. Well, other cars this morning, and it's not this turn, I think it was out right there. The car just stopped. And other cars were just blowing by it and like there's nothing there to it. So is it the track? Could be. Or is it the shoe? Let's take a look. I tell you what, just thinking about it, and we all fall in this category. Most people, they'll blame the armature, the magnets, the chassis. But this tiny little part right here can cause 80% of the power loss. That's pretty significant, you know what? And just very quickly, just to make the point, and I think we all know these, but it's nice to have them, listed like I'm going to do here. Why do shoes matter? You know what I mean? Why do they matter? Shoes are the electrical handshake between the track and the car. You know what I mean? They determine power delivery. They determine the acceleration, the consistency, lane or rail, contact, and even smoothness. The shoes are so important. I tell you what. A good analogy: your slot car could have like a Ferrari engine, but if the battery cables are corroded, it's dead. I think one of the biggest issues with the shoes when they've been worn is, some of the common problems are like a loss of conductivity, like a hot spot. Now, I was pulling some shoes earlier, and here's what I mean by hot spot. Now, I tell you what, let me set this down. Do you see how it kind of has trying to get the focus here, you see how it kind of has like a funky bend to it? Do you know what I mean? Like the front of the shoe compared to like the back of the shoe, the part that touches the track, it looks like the front of the shoe isn't touching very well. And when I started looking at it, when I pulled it from the bin, look at that hot spot on the back there. It's like whoever bent this, I dropped it, sorry. But whoever bent it, it's like only one part of the shoe is touching. See the back little hot spot? That's it. There's a bit of a groove, and I don't know why they bent it, but only the back part is touching there. Here's another good example. As far as having corrosion on it, this is like just before that green algae, like it's called verdigris, when that grows on it. This is just before that. If you have the verdigris on there, it's not going to help get electricity to the T-jet. You guys know that I use the Brasso. If you put a shoe in the Brasso, in a couple minutes, you're going to see like a bluish green tint to the Brasso to where it's getting all the corrosion off. It's absolutely wonderful. I know there's other guys out there, instead of the Brasso, they'll say, hey, listen, just use vinegar. Guys, I've said this a million times. I can't stand the smell of vinegar. Even when my wife gets it like a vinaigrette type of a dressing, I'll go in the other room. I'm not compatible with vinegar. I also had a couple of people say this from time to time. As far as cleaning a chassis, shoes, and whatnot, they'll put it into a ultrasound unit, which will hit either the shoes, the chassis body, whatever, with a very strong sound frequency, and it vibrates all the gunk off of it. Ultrasound has been used, to my knowledge, therapeutically, yes, and diagnostically, yes, with the mamas getting the babies and they do the ultrasound, but it's also been used as far as cleaning jewelry. So I get it. You got a high powerful sound wave hitting something that has corrosion on it, it knocks it off. That's great. That's absolutely wonderful. Whenever you're talking about shoes, and I've got to bring it up, you have to say something about the springs. You have to. Now, there's some aftermarket springs. I don't think I have any anymore. There's some aftermarket springs. I hate to say it, but they're too springy. When you put the, I'll just grab this. When you put the car on the track, they're so springy, the front end looks like it's doing a wheelie all the time. I wish the aftermarket springs were better than they really are. I really do. The one that I have here in the bin, these are all new, old stock from a guy that was getting rid of his collection for 60 years. I couldn't stop buying them. They're new, old stock Aurora. They're not aftermarket. I am just pleased as punch with those. But a spring tension, if the springs are too springy, again, the front end isn't going to sit down properly. But let's say you had a magnet traction spring under a T-Jet shoe there. That's not going to work either, guys. That's not enough. So spring tension, making sure that those shoes make sure the shoes hit the rails properly, that's a big deal. Now, I tell you what, I've kind of pioneered this a little bit. I did a video a number of months ago about restoring the vibrators shoes, restoring the T-Jet shoes with silver paint. I think they call it ink, but silver. I think it is ink, if I'm not mistaken. That's relabeled, but I call it silver paint. So it's conductive. Now, the first time I did the silver there, I got this pen, and I'll be quite frank, does it work? Yes, but it's kind of fiddly. Yes, you got to shake it. You got to make sure it's all stirred up on the inside there, just like any paint pen or ink pen. And you have to depress the tip, which allows the silver to come out, and then you have to squeeze the middle there. That's why it's fat. And again, it's kind of fiddly. When I got the same product, but in a kind of like a nail polish applicator, it's got the paintbrush. When you do it that way, you can go over the shoe there, and it's like an even application. It's absolutely wonderful using it with the paintbrush, or like the nail polish brush, whatever you want to call it. It's just, that's the way to do it, guys. Think of the grooves, and think of those as like mini speed bumps for electricity. Not a good thing, you know what? And just for fun, there's a couple ways to clean the shoe. A lot of guys, remember the, let me see if I can get it here real quick. Remember the manual? Didn't it have us cleaning them with a, like a back of a pencil or something, the eraser for a pencil? I might be wrong, but didn't they have us do that? I don't know. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay, so that's one way to clean the shoe, right? That's one way to do it. If you want to take your time and do it that way, go right ahead, and I'm sure it'll work. That is too funny. I just recalled that when I was talking about that. That is too funny. Now, some people, they use the sandpaper, which is a great, I'm trying to get this book back in there without tearing anything out. There we go. Okay, good. And I recommend, if you're going to take a shoe, and you're going to get it where the flat part touches the rails, I would recommend at least 1,000 grit wet sandpaper, something like that. I would recommend at least 1,000. You might want to go 1,215, but at least 1,000. That would get it nice and clean. Now, you guys have, I've done this, and I've done a bunch of videos, but I get the wire brush and the Dremel there. I do that, and then that is an easy way to get the entire shoe clean. The reason I say entire shoe, let's say it's got oxidation on it like this one does all over, right? So if I was just to clean it with a wire brush, yes, it might get the oxidation off the contact point there, but you see that little curve, that little cup? Get that clean. Get it clean. I mean, get in there with your brush and clean it. You know what? Get in there and get clean. And quite frankly, I don't think I would just use a wire brush. I would go with the, I go with the Brasso. Then after that was really, really, really clean, then I would, hit it with the wire brush and make sure everything is, kind of like polished, right? Just a quick comment as far as the tarnish goes. Tarnish, you guys know, it equals electrical resistance. Again, that's something you don't want. You really don't want electrical resistance. Okay, in shoes, you'll notice if the spring tensions, going back to spring tensions, sometimes your car will bounce around the track, and you know that the spring tension's off. You just know it, you know. And if they have poor contact and curves, like my one was doing earlier this morning on this curve right here, and I'm not sure what part of the rail wasn't going around, but it just wasn't doing it. Again, that's either spring tension or the cleanliness of the shoe itself. That's all it can be, because when other cars pass it and then the one car doesn't, you know the rail's clean, you know the track's clean, so it's got to be the shoe. Again, as far as cleaning, just for fun, let's do a Brasso demonstration. I got my cup out. That's my cup. I'm gonna put a, I don't care, let's just do this. I'm gonna slather, I gotta shake it first, but I gotta slather some on there. And you see how it's like black? It's absolutely like black. Let's see what happens when we put the Brasso on it. And again, it doesn't take long before it starts working. I mean, it's like right away. This is too funny. I just used the Brasso. I may have splooged too much there for a single a shoe there. You know what? It's like that's a lifetime supply for a shoe. So just give a little bit. I'm gonna get my toothbrush out, stir it around, then I'll rinse it off. But the best way to clean a shoe, to me, if there's any oxidation on it whatsoever, again, it goes after the verdigris, it goes after the mild oxidation, a simple cleaning, Brasso. And again, I know there's other methods to it, but this is mine, and it doesn't smell like vinegar. It has been a few minutes. I know it still looks like a wad there, doesn't it? There it is. I found it. Okay, let me do this. I gotta rinse it off. I have to rinse it off, but I'm sure that the Brasso has worked well enough. By this amount of time, it should be good and clean. Let me go ahead and take it to the sink. Coming back from the sink, trying to get the focus there. There we go. The shoe looks a whole lot better. We see a little bit of black there, and we see some black on the underneath side. But overall, I mean, it's not black anymore except for those two places. We have two options. One is to go ahead and use the Dremel that has the wire brush, and then that should clean that up pretty good. Or we can use the sandpaper. I'm kind of opting for the sandpaper first, but I would really like to use the Dremel on the inside of that little cup there, you know what? Okay, now I used the, again, I think it's about 1,000 grit wet sandpaper, and I use it on the shoe there, but you see the black line there? That's that groove. So that sandpaper didn't even touch the groove. Now, my next move is, I'm gonna do the, there's a Florida critter right there. I'm gonna do the Dremel wire brush and see what it looks like after that. All right, check it out. I'm trying to get in focus. The groove is clean because I used I know that you can still see it, but look at that little cup there. That is sparkling clean. And I always suggest, if you're gonna use the wire Dremel or anything like that, do the front and the back of it, please, because rust, oxidation, that stuff, it never sleeps. It's always going to manifest. So if you just do where the shoe contacts the rail, well, you missed 85 to 90% of the shoe. So just do every bit of it. And just for fun, as far as a criteria for replacing the shoe, or think about it this way: two of these. If you got 2 out of the 5, replace the damn shoe. Are the grooves too deep? Unless you're going to use the silver, right? Oxidation and polishing won't clean it. You know, if it's just too far gone. Have I had that? Yes, years ago. I don't know if I made a video about it, but I don't want to say I gave up on it, but I couldn't complete the project. I couldn't do it. I couldn't get everything clean. Springs, weakness, or bent. Are the springs weak? Are they bent a little bit? Because sometimes if the springs under the shoes have been mashed under there for 60 years, they might need to be refreshed. You might have to stretch them out just a bit, and I've covered that in a few of my videos. The shoe material has worn too thin. And again, that's like the hole in it, the groove in it has gone too far. So that, if you have any of those two, if you got any of those, replace the damn shoe, will you? I mean, get a new shoe. They make some very, 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 very nice shoes that are aftermarket. Get them. Now this is fun. As far as the best practices for maximizing performance, this is the broke tip section, guys. Always polish the shoes with a fine abrasive before race day. You know what I mean? Make sure that your shoes are clean. If you're going to do a race day, make sure that they're done. Number two, use only a thin amount of oil when you're doing the chassis, but the oil, never oil the shoes. Don't do it. I've seen people do it. Do not oil the shoes. Don't do that. You're going in the wrong direction, guys. Make sure the springs have even pressure. We talked about that. If you have too much pressure, the car will be doing like a wheelie. If there's uneven pressure, the car, it kind of skips around the track. Not good, not good. Now, alignment and straightness of the shoe. I've had to do this sometimes, guys, and I bet you figured this out too. Since it's on a rivet, I've had to either swivel this in or out to make sure that the shoe is hitting the rail properly. You wouldn't think to do that, but sometimes you have to. It's like the thing that's going to make the difference. You really got to do it. I think I said this before, but clean shoes before every race. If you're going to race them, and you guys know I run them, but if you race them, make sure your shoes are clean. Do you want 100% conductivity? You clean every part of that shoe, you put it back on the chassis. You know what? Just for fun, I've heard this a bunch of times. I've categorized them about three myths. All shoes are the same. No, they've got copper, they've got nickel, they have a silver shoe, even so not all shoes are the same there. And, grooves in the shoes don't matter. Bull hockey, they matter quite a bit. Again, the shoe is handshaking the rails to get electricity to the car, and if you got a groove there, and it's not going to it creates little gaps, tiny minimal gaps, but you don't want that. You want it flat as possible. And if the car is slow, it's got to be the armature. Check the shoes first. Again, if you've got a Ferrari engine in your Ferrari motor in your slot car, and you have corrosion on the battery cables, it's not going to work. Check the shoes first, will you please? Very quickly, you can always tune up their armature. We guys, you know that. The magnets, the brushes, everything. But if the shoes are trash, your car's going to be trash, guys. I don't want to keep repeating it, but they make that much of a difference. Another thing, you guys always have something to add that I just love. If you have any pro tips regarding shoes, let me know. I love that stuff, guys. There's been a couple of them with the aftermarket springs saying, hey, listen, this middle one, I don't know if it was one of them, I really don't, but they'll say with aftermarket springs, if you have to have those springs, you might have to use a funky bend in your shoe. Tell me what you guys have done, and I discovered this probably way too late, probably 20 years too late, but this device, you see that little slit there in the middle there? There you go. If you need to bend the shoe in or out or whatever, this is the thing to do it. When you find it on eBay, it's like fluorescent orange, and it was really too colorful, kind of like my nail file sander that my wife gave me last weekend. I had to paint this because I put it over here, and it was just like sticking out, so I had to paint it. But that simple little tool can make a big difference as far as how your shoes hit. Which one was it? Not that one. Was it this one? Yeah, you see that back spot there? That's the only place that shoe's hitting. And again, it had to be in a funky bend. We can kind of see it. Let me get an overview of it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, look at that. See the way that's bent right there? No wonder only the back part of the shoe is hitting, right? So ending off here. So guys, please pay attention to your shoes. You think it's the armature, it's a brushes, it's magnets, it's a chassis. Check the shoes. Check the shoes. And again, if you want to use the, I got this off of Amazon, and what do they call it? I'm trying to guess here. I'm trying to read it. I got my glasses on. Silver ink. So if you went to Amazon.com and order that, you'd get it. Again, I've had the silver paint stick. It's fiddly. You try to fill in like from a vibrator hole in the shoe or one of these, you can do it, but it's fiddly. And the thing about it is after you use the paint, wait till it dries. Wait till it dries. Wait till it dries. That's a big deal. Then go ahead and hit it on the sandpaper, and when you smooth it out, you've got that groove filled in, you've got that hole filled in, and it works. Is it better than replacing the shoe? No. But does it work? It certainly does. It certainly does. All right, guys, I hope you had a good time with the shoe stuff here. Here's what's left of the rum and coke. I hope you had a good time. If you have any questions, anything, let me know. And I do want to get back over here. Let me get back over here. Here's the free stuff. The free stuff is still available. It's still over here. It's the molds for the Willies. It's the molds for the surfboard. Anybody want an original oil with the key tracks? Let me know. These are 2 slimline armatures. What is it? Oh, that's the crack me up. That's the cigar box stuff from a couple of vehicles I did. And I've got a gentleman who requested this one. And I asked him, I said, hey, listen, through the email, if you have your address, please send it to me. I haven't heard anything yet. So it's spoken for, but if I don't hear anything and somebody else wants it, this is still mint in the package, guys. I haven't opened it, and it's in the free stuff area. So guys, I hope you had a good time with the shoe stuff. There's a lot going on with the shoes. Again, if you have a car that's failing around a specific turn or anything, and other cars are doing great, look at the shoes. Look at the shoes. And I'm going to clean these in just a bit, but you see the black spots? I got to get these buggers, and what were they, nickel it looks like? I got to get these buggers cleaned up here, and I'll do that in just a bit. All right, guys, I hope you had a good time this weekend. I know I did. I've had a blast since this morning. But let me know if you need anything. I am here for you. I don't care if you have a question about where I get things from or how I do things. Just let me know. I'm here for you. I'm approachable. Talk to you next video. See ya.